Hey, have you heard about my AI alter ego? That's right. Ask Alan Anything is now live, and we've trained it on my 13 books. We've trained it on over 200 podcasts. It has most of what's in here, not everything, but most of what's in here. And you can, when you're sitting around going, gee, I wonder what Alan would do in this situation, or I wonder what Alan would say in this situation. Well, now you can. Go to whatwouldallansay.com. Enter the coupon code podcast because you're going to get half off. It starts at only $10 a month. And now when you're thinking, I wonder what Alan say, now you can actually ask. Go to whatwouldallansay.com, enter the coupon code podcast, and start asking me anything. You've been prompting for years. Listen to this episode, see where I'm going. Welcome to another episode of the Wedding Business Solutions Podcast. I'm your host, Alan Berg. I'm a speaker, author, sales trainer, website reviewer, and I help businesses like yours sell more, profit more, and have more fun doing it. Enjoy this episode. Hey, it's Alan Berg. Welcome back to another episode of the Wedding Business Solutions Podcast. I just finished my new AI book, AI for the Real World. And one of the chapters in there, I'm talking about how you've been prompting your entire life, or you've been prompting certainly for years. And all that really means is that you've learned how, when you give better direction, you get better outcomes. Right? Matter of fact, the subtext of the book is if you want better outcome, you have to give it better input. Right? So think about you as an employee or an employer. If someone wants you to do something and they give you better direction, you give them what they're looking for. Same with a client. If you find out more about what they're looking for, you can give them a better result. But when people give you vague instructions, you get vague outcomes. And it's the same thing with AI. With AI, you have to give it better input. You have to give it better instructions. My very first computer class back when I was in high school, a long, long time ago, was, and again, this doesn't matter what the programming language is or anything like that, but the first thing the teacher did is went to the blackboard and wrote GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. And that is the rule of computers, and that is the rule of life. If you give bad input, you get bad output. If you give vague input, the chances of you getting the output you want are reduced because the input was vague. So think about the next time you're going to use AI. Talk to it, and you don't have to actually talk to it, although you can with many of them. Write the instruction as if you were telling it to a person, right? And I know this artificial intelligence, is it supposed to be as smart as people or whatever? No, that's not the thing. It's still your judgment that matters. But if you give better input, if you give a better prompt, you tell it more of what you're looking for, including the format, who it's for, what you're going to do with it, you'll get better output. And then you don't have to take the first thing that it says. Matter of fact, most of the time you shouldn't take the first thing that it says. It's just getting you closer to the answer. And it's the same thing if you're working with a couple, or if you're working with a client, or if you're an employer or an employee. When you're talking to someone, the more you can give them about the context of what this is, who it's for, what the format you're looking for, when it's going to be used, all these different things, the more you're going to get a better output. So it really does mirror human interaction because you've been doing this, or should be doing this, or have learned the hard way about doing this right or wrong, that if you give vague instructions, you get vague output. If you give better instructions, you get better output. And this also leads into your sales process, which is if you ask better questions, that will lead you to get that other person giving you more information, you can give them more of what they're looking for. So it's exactly the same thing. Prompt engineering is the phrase in AI, and prompt engineering just means giving better directions, asking better questions, giving more input in terms of format, context, and all those different things. So whether you're using ChatGPT or Gemini or Ask Alan Anything, and I actually say that in the prompt when you go into Ask Alan Anything, it says, give it context, tell it who you are, tell it what it's for, and you're going to get a better output because of that. I remember when I first heard somebody say at a conference that people over 45 get better results from AI because they give better instructions. And I said that to my assistant, who's a few years out of college, and she said, yeah, I give it 8 words, you give it 2 paragraphs. Exactly, because I give instructions to AI the way I would give instructions to her. And this is a life lesson. If we want to get better output, we need better input. It's the same thing with AI. So think about what's the difference between saying, write me a social media post and saying, I want to write a social media post for Instagram. My target audience are Gen Y and Gen Z brides. This is what I do for a living. This is the feeling that I want. This is the call to action that I'm looking for. Help me write 5 different social media posts about this particular event. Let me tell you about the event. That's way, way better. And yes, does it take a little more time? Sure, but isn't that better than going back and forth 10 times because you didn't give good instructions? You'll get closer to the answer faster. And yes, maybe sometimes the first answer will be good enough, and maybe it'll be great. But if you don't give a good instruction, the chances of that happening are severely diminished. So you have been prompting for years, some of you for decades. You just didn't call it prompting because we just called it interacting with people and giving better instructions, better guidance, better input. That's how you're going to get better output with AI. That's how you're going to get better output in life. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Wedding Business Solutions podcast. If you liked it, please subscribe to this channel and post a review on your chosen platform, Apple Podcasts or whichever one. If you have any questions about anything in this episode or any of my episodes, email me directly at alan@weddingbusinesssolutions.com or visit my website, alanberg.com, alanberg.com. If you have any suggestions for future topics or guests that you'd like to see, please again, email me or visit my website. Thanks for listening.